In Killeen, Woodway, and all of Central Texas. This is Fox 44 News at 6.
We're celebrating both Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month and Mental Health Awareness Month, and we take a look at the pressures plaguing Asian American youth.
That's right, and I spoke with two professors about the theory of passing for perfect and how it can take a toll on this community's mental health. We've often heard of students who lie about exam grades or forge report cards to avoid getting scolded by their parents. But for these Asian teens, they took extreme measures instead. Asia Kim posed as a college student at Stanford University for 8 months, studying for classes, living in the dorms, and fooling classmates. Another college imposter, Jennifer Pan, was convicted in 2010 of a murder-for-hire attack, targeting her overly strict parents, killing her mother, and injuring her father.
I often find it hard to explain college imposters to potentially non-Asian audiences because it feels like I'm selling tickets to a circus freak act. Like step right up and see these strange and desperate creatures.
Dr. Erin Quaining, Associate Professor and Chair of the Department of Asian Studies at the University of California, Santa Barbara, and the author of the book Passing for Perfect, College Imposters and Other Model Minorities, explains what the motivation behind the behavior might be.
God, what a shameful failure you'd be then, right? When your parents work so hard, sacrifice so much.
Their expectations weren't realistic, were they?
The decisions these students made seem puzzling, but success frame or tiger parenting can play a huge factor.
We create competition and precarity, just winners and failures.
This leaves a child oftentimes with no other options.
I chose what I chose.
It's difficult to have a conversation with your parents knowing that you're going to disappoint them in what you're going to say.
Arnold Jin, Assistant Professor of Instruction at the Center for Asian American Studies at the University of Texas at Austin, says there are everyday examples of this.
Students who are not willing to tell their parents what their grades were, what was their SAT score.
Being the model minority also comes with a chokehold of societal expectations.
They're so consumed with passing as the model minority that it's at the detriment of their mental health, and ultimately it results in some very undesirable outcomes.
Asian Americans 15 to 24 are the only racial group where the leading cause of death is suicide. What does that say about the lives that they are living?
So where do we go from here, and how can we better support the mental health of our youth?
We need to be having more conversations. There's not as much acknowledgement on this issue that the kids are putting enough pressure on themselves.
For a list of mental health resources and how to start the conversation, find my story on fox44news.com. We'll be right back.